Peace. This is Brother Tim, and we're going to do it a little bit different today. Since I'm moving and doing some hangouts, I'm going to take the hangout and I'm going to bring it over to Spreaker after I get done. So I hope that you enjoy, but first let me remind you of this. You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. So we're going to get into the folk tales for grown folks, but it's coming a little bit different. So I hope you enjoy. Why don't you hit me up, let me know what you think about it. And I'm going to add, because I had to end early. Something happened with one of my kids, so I had to go handle that. So I'll add the rest of it, but go ahead and listen and enjoy. All right. Peace. This is Brother Hatem, and you are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. So now, for those who have never done this show before, what we will do is I usually start off reading the proverb, or my fault, the folk tale. Proverbs is tomorrow. Read the folk tale, then we get into the discussion. I'll make it available and pop it up every now and then in our conversation so that you can get it and so that you can see it. But, so here we go. The translation I'm using is from Aesop Fables, and it's translated by George Fowler Townsend. All right, so here we go. An ass belonging to an herb seller who gave him too little food and too much work made a petition Jupiter to be released from his present service and provided with another master. Jupiter, after warning him that he will repent his request, caused him to be sold to a tile maker. Shortly afterwards, finding that he had heavier loads to carry and harder work in the brick field, he petitioned for another change of master. Jupiter, telling him that it would be the last time that he could grant his request, ordained that he be sold to a tanner. The ass found that he had fallen into the worst hands, and noting his master's occupation, said, groaning, "It would have been better for me to have been either starved by the one or to have been overworked by the other of my former masters, than to have been bought by my present owner, who will, even after I am dead, tan my hide and make me useful to him. He that finds discontentment in one place is not likely to find happiness in another." You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. I don't have no sound effects. I am your host, Brother Hunt, and this is Folk Tales for Grown Folks. And as I always say, these folk tales are not just for kids. In them are deep lessons. So let's go and make this quick, since it don't look like too many people come to the hangout, which is cool, because you know how I do it. Those that's been with me, you know how I do it. I get down by myself. Now, on the screen, you see Giami Journey Workbook, Tribal Quotes. That's one of my books. You can look it up on the internet. It's for sale on Amazon. You get it on Kindle as well. But anyway, let's get down and break down this proverb, and let's look at it just a little bit, all right? Because I ain't got to stay the whole time and let some conversation pop up. If you have questions, I have the question board. You go to question and answers. I just popped that up, so if anybody have any questions for me, I'll be able to answer them. Also, the chat is up. Also, those that know my number and stuff like that, you can You can text me as well as hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. I got all that. All that is up, and I'm ready for it. All right, so here we go. So we got this ass, the poor ass, man. I mean, the ass is always catching it for Aesop. And that ass represents the unintelligent individual, the dissatisfied individual, the basic beast of all brawn, very little brains. And hopefully that don't describe a lot of you. So he's with his first master. The first master is not necessarily working him hard, but it's not giving him enough sustenance. He's not making enough to survive. He's not eating well. He asks Jupiter, and for the time period, for those that don't understand, Aesop was back in the Greek days. Jupiter is Zeus. This was the high god. The ass asks Jupiter to move him or to give him another master. And Jupiter warned him in the beginning that he wouldn't be happy. Now we're gonna get back to that in a minute. Why it's important and what's one of the major lessons that come out of this? Because I constantly tell you, it's basic principles. It's the simplicity of these folk tales that make them applicable to your life. It's the simplicity. All right. So he says, I will do it, but you won't like it. So he switches them. Now he switches them and sends him to a master that works him very hard, a tile maker. And the tile maker required that the ass work hard. So now he's eating good, but now he got to work hard. And he's like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I need help. You know, some of us have been in this situation before, right? Right? But let me tell you why you got in this situation, because you went from one where you weren't making enough, and now you go to the other where you're making enough, but now the work is hard. You like this ass, like, oh, Jupiter, please, please give me one more master. So Jupiter tells him this will be the last time. So he makes his wish, and Jupiter grants the wish and moves him to a tanner. Now, for those that don't know what a tanner is someone who basically tans leather. Now, leather comes from animals, and it just so happened that this is an animal. So after he gets work, and he's going to get worked to death, the tanner is not only going to make use of him in his life, but he will make use for him in his death. Let's look at some of the problems, because Aesop point out some very basic issues that we could look at, right? So actually apply some of this to our lives and to what's going on in the world. Now, I think this might be the root of it's better to serve a demon that you know rather than an angel that you don't know. The fear of the unknown. See, because it's like a lot of times we fear the unknown, and this ass figured that the unknown would be better than what he had, and he did a blanket wish, which a lot of us do. A lot of us set out on life adventures, life journey, with a blanket, with an empty wish. We just wished and we jumped out, but we didn't plan. See, as I told y'all before, with these folk tales, they teach us very simple principles. Now, when the ass requested to be moved, the ass basically made a wish. And as I told you before, the problems with wishes, the problems with just wishing, is that if you are not specific with the wish, you will always end up in a horrible situation. The donkey just wanted out. Like many of us are in jobs and we just want out. Many of us are in relationships, we just want out. Many of us are stuck at certain points in our lives and we just want out. And we don't care where we go. We don't care what type of relationship we end in after, because we're not thinking that far. We're not clear. we're not clear, we jump blindly. And the only issue with jumping blindly is that usually when you jump blindly, you're going to run into something that is going to hinder you. You're going to jump into a worse situation. I'm not saying stay in the situation you are in. What I'm saying is get a clarity. See, because the ass represents the dim-witted fellow, the beast of burden, the person that does not think. We don't want to be the ass. No, you don't want to be the ass. No, you might have a big ass, but you don't want to be the ass. Okay? Now, an ass is somebody that is dim-witted. The ass is somebody that don't think. The ass is somebody that don't plan. The ass just made a blanket wish. And Jupiter told him, point blank, you're not going to like, I don't care. It can't be any worse than what I am right now. This guy is working me. He's not feeding me enough. So he sends him to the tile maker. And the tile maker is giving him enough food, but he's working the hell out of him. He's going to get every ounce of food that he eat out of this mule, out of this ass. And then finally he make another wish, another blanket wish, and he ends up in a worse situation. See, this mule totally turned his life over to destiny. He turned his life over to fate. He turned his life over to being a god, and over to a genie, over to a spirit, over to some energy that really is not concerned about your well-being. Many of us do the same thing. We just blanket wish. I wish I had another job, not knowing that the job that's coming for us is hell. I wish I had another relationship, not knowing that the relationship that was coming, the one that we left, is going to be better than the one that we moving into. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could be unstuck at this point in my life. I wish I could be out of this sorrow. I wish I could make some changes. I wish I could move to another neighborhood. All those things are unspecific. What I'm asking you to do, what this folktale is trying to get you to do, is to start, think about this, is to start being specific and start planning. There's nothing wrong with going to a higher power. But when we approach the higher power, we have to know what we want. We have to know what we want. We have to be clear with our wishes. Because if we are not clear with our wishes, we are going to end up in a terrible, horrible situation. All right? Now, also, I want you to think about the moral of the story. A person that is discontent in one situation more than likely will not be content in another. See, because it wasn't where the ass was. It was the ass. The problem wasn't the job, the first job. The problem wasn't the second job. The problem wasn't the third job. The problem was the ass. See, because the ass couldn't find happiness in the place that it was in, because the ass was unhappy. So no matter what situation he ended up in, he wasn't going to be able to be content with it. See, understand this. The ass is a beast of burden. The ass is a beast of burden. I'm just going to let that, I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. The ass is a beast of burden. It's supposed to be in a situation where it's supposed to work. It has to. You know what I'm saying? It has to be in a position where it needs to carry. This is the role that it plays in the world that it is in. So it wasn't the job that was the problem. It was the ass. And then for many of us, see, I mean, Aesop, man, this is not just for kids, man. This is what I keep on trying to explain to people. These books were used to educate in the old world. These folk tales were used to educate and to teach around the world. This was one of the most published books in history because the wisdom has stood the test of time. Right? It wasn't the ass. I mean, it wasn't the job. It was the ass. The ass was messed up. This is why when we look at people and be like, man, you acting like an ass. The issue is usually the individual. The individual is an asshole because everywhere it goes, it is not he or she or it is not content with what it is. So if you can't find contentment with yourself, it don't matter what job you got. It don't matter what relationship you got. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in. No matter where you move, how much you make, you're never going to be happy. The ass was discontented with itself, and it was discontented with its place in life. It had not accepted the fact that it was an ass. One of the common things you commonly see with the ass throughout Aesop fables is that the ass is always trying to be and do something else. It's trying to act like a little puppy dog, or it's trying to act like a monkey, or it's trying to work with a lion. You know what I'm saying? The ass is always lost. You know what I'm saying? So now let's bring it around to the day. Let's bring it around to our lives. Many of us right now are playing the role of the ass in this story. We think that moving from the job we are at to another job is going to make us happy. We think that moving from a job to entrepreneurship is going to make us happy. We think that moving from this relationship to another relationship is going to make us happy. We think a certain person out there is going to make us happy. We think that we think that if we move to a different neighborhood, it will provide us with a better environment and it will make us happy. We believe that if we lose some weight, we will be happy. We believe that if we're able to sign up for this gym and to commit to going to the gym, it will change us. We believe that if we start eating the right type of foods, that it will change our situation. But your situation will be no matter where you are, no matter what you change. If you are not happy with yourself like this ass, you're always going to be lost. You're always going to be depressed. You're always going to be sad. Yes, there's going to be moments of joy maybe, but until you become satisfied, until you are able to accept who you are, you know what I'm saying? And I can't help but to reflect on the fact that the ass in these stories is always acting like something else. For those that have followed me on Giammi Journey, you understand that without a shadow of a doubt, that the person means comes from the word persona, which means the mask of the actor. It means the mask of the actor. And the persona was the mask that ancient Greek actors used to wear to take the role of somebody else. They used to pretend. And the ass is that mask. The ass is the mask wearer in Aesop's fable.
You are now listening to Giammi Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Right here is where I'll pick it up because that's where the interruption happened. So now, the ass, or the donkey for those of you with sensitive ears, but it's called an ass. The ass is the mask wearer in Aesop fables. It's the one that's always trying to be something else, and it always ends up getting destroyed, being killed, being deceived, because it's never itself. If you don't believe me, you look at a lot of these folk tales, and I can't help but to reflect. The thing that came to me was that I can't help but to compare how the ass is portrayed in Aesop fables in the way that my people are portrayed today. You know what I'm saying? Or the way that we portray ourselves. We are our areas, because I don't believe we have a community. Our areas are full of actors, are full of people wearing masks. Whether it's the mask of toughness, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's the mask of masculinity, or the mask of femininity, or the mask of the flyest dresser, or the mask of the baller, or the mask of the drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? We wear all these masks. And then on top of that, we even cover up our actual body. We don't allow our hairs, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of women that's wearing weaves and perms, and we destroy our hair. And you even see young men and young ladies going to the corner stores now and buying fake contact lenses because they're trying to be what they are not. But the only one that is ever doing that in Aesop fables dies. There are dozens of stories within these fables where an animal trying not to be itself, trying to be something else. There's a story about the ass and the grasshopper, where the ass tried to get a beautiful voice like the grasshopper and goes to the grasshopper, dies. There's the story. There's the story about the crow that wanted to be white like the swans, and went and tried to just bathe itself on a daily basis and not eat until it turned white and ended up dying. You run into stories like this over and over again, and I can't help but to look into my community and ask this question. I don't care who it offends. Right now, who is playing the ass in the social order that is presently running the world? And it hurts my heart. You know what I'm saying? It hurts my heart to actually think about that. I'm reading these fables and I'm seeing what's going on with us. I'm seeing the positions that we are putting ourselves in, and that we are being maneuvered into, and that we are allowing ourselves to be moved into. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing people putting stuff up about us up on Facebook and up on YouTube that displays destructive behavior, that attention seeking behavior, that mask wearing behavior. I see people acting like an ass. Man, and if the ancestors' wisdom plays out, we in trouble. Because if you looked at this folktale, it didn't end good for the ass. Because the ass was discontented with itself, no matter where it went, it always was going to be discontent, and it ended up being unsatisfied through two different, we can even say through two different marriages or two different relationships. It went through 3 relationships in that short story. And the third relationship, the individual was not only going to work the ass to death, it was going to benefit from his death. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like what's going on in our community? Does that sound like what's going on in our area? Black folks, we got to wake up. Those of you in the journey, you need to wake up. If you are acting like an ass, you know what I'm saying? You need to change direction. So this is Brother Hatim. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your patience. You can get this on YouTube. Of course, it's still on Spreaker. But if you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. I'm going to cut that one up a little bit. And with that, I'm out.
You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.